The time is 5 o'clock. Here is the world news at 5. First, the top stories. Man to die by hanging in Abeokuta over 6,000 naira and handset robbery. Governor Autumn wants Governor Wike to steer clear of Benue security issue. President Muhammadu Buhari nominates Mutiu Agboke others as INEC rec for 28 states. More Euro-bound Nigerians stranded in Libya return home. In foreign, Trump gives U.S. Congress Friday deadline to vote on his healthcare bill, and more than 200 migrants feared drowned in Mediterranean. I am Simiat Abaru, bringing you the news in detail shortly. An Abeokuta High Court in the Ogun State capital has sentenced one Abiodun Olabode to death by hanging for armed robbery. In her judgment, Justice Olatokunbo Majeko Dumi found the accused person guilty of a two-count charge of conspiracy and armed robbery. According to the judge, the accused on February 12, 2013 at Okiefon, Lafiaji in the Shaja area of Abeokuta robbed at gunpoint one Toyin Adeboyejo of 2,000 naira cash and a handset. The accused also robbed at gunpoint one Ali Sadiq of the sum of 4,000 naira in the same area on the same day. The judge says the prosecution proved his case against the suspect beyond doubt and ordered him to die by hanging. Poultry farmers in Ogun State have expressed concern over the multiple taxation and levies they are being compelled to pay by different government agencies in the state. They asked the state government to quickly harmonize the taxes and levies to allow transparency. The state chairperson of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, Mrs. Blessing Alawode, speaking in Idiruku at the seminar organized for poultry and maize farmers in the state, says the failure of the state government to address this multiple tax challenge may force them out of business. For instance, she explains that an average poultry farmer is paying a minimum of 5 taxes and levies to different government agencies in the state. Alawode listed the government agencies as the Livestock Department, the Veterinary Department, both from the State Agriculture Ministry, the Commerce Industry, and the State Bureau of Lands. She says that members also pay, in addition, personal income tax to the state government. Association's General Secretary for the Southwest Region, Dr. Lekon Odunsi, in his goodwill message asked the poultry farmers to obtain necessary documents, including poultry license, before they start operation in the farm. Nigeria Immigration Service has arrested 2 illegal immigrants suspected to be involved in criminal acts in the Yewa South local government area of Ogun State. The State Immigration Controller Ajibola Bayeruju, parading the suspect at a news conference in Abeokuta, named them as Alagbe Ogunde and Yagweno Tonye. The controller says the suspects were arrested during the raid of the state border communities to rid the state of illegal migrants and criminal elements. Items recovered from the suspect, according to the controller, include 2 local-made pistols loaded with ammunition, charms, dagger, gunpowder, as well as bank savings and withdrawal booklets. Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State has warned Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State to face the crisis in his state. Otom, who alleges that there is no rule of law in Rivers State, says there are more killings in Rivers State than the ongoing killings in Benue State. Wike had accused Otom of displaying what he calls sheer laziness and incapacity over the spate of violent attacks in Benue State and called for a military takeover of the state to restore normalcy. Wike alleges that Otom was among the APC state governors who called for the imposition of emergency rule when Rivers State was facing a serious security crisis. The Rivers State government, speaking while receiving members of the governing council of the University of Port Harcourt at the government house in Port Harcourt, warns that the type of insecurity in Benue State may spread to other APC states, whose governors once called for emergency rule in the state. The Senate has rejected 2 of the 47 non-career ambassadorial nominees whose names were forwarded to it by President Muhammadu Buhari for approval. The rejected nominees are Justice Stephenus Osofo from Imo State and Mr. Jacob Daudu from Ondo State. The Senate Foreign Affairs Committee, which screened the nominees, made this known while presenting its report at the Senate plenary. Senate Deputy President Ike Kwerimadu also explains that the two nominees were rejected based on the report of the Department of Security Service. Justice Msofa was regarded as being too old, while Dowdy was accused by DSS of deceitful and being once involved in corrupt practices as the chairman of a road construction project. The committee, however, approved 45 other nominees. They include Susan Folarin from Ogun State, Afolahon Adeyemi from Osun State, retired Major General Ashimiyu Olaniyi from Oyo State, and both Justice George Oguntade and Modupe Irete from Lagos State. President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a list of resident electoral commissioner nominees for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to the Senate for confirmation. The Residential Electoral Commissioners (BREC) nominees are for 28 states. One of the nominees, Mutiu Agboke from Ogun State, is a commissioner with Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission (OTEC). Saraki read Buhari's list of these nominees at the Senate plenary on Thursday. Buhari appointed the 28 recs following the expiration of the tenure of rec in 28 states. More of Nigerians stranded in Libya while waiting to cross the Mediterranean Sea on their way to Europe have returned to the country. The migrants, numbering 155, including an infant, were flown into Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos in a chartered flight on Thursday. One of them suffers from paralysis and another is a psychiatric patient. Deputy Director in charge of search and rescue of the National Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Bandele Unimole, says 654 Nigerian migrants had so far returned from Libya this year. 2 weeks ago, 171 others were airlifted into the country from the North African country. About 867 were repatriated from Libya last year. Ogun State and two other states, Oyo and Kaduna, recorded the highest number of deaths in road traffic crashes last year, according to data released by the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS). 30,105 people were injured in road traffic crashes during the period. NBS in the data says that a total of 5,053 people died in the 11,363 road traffic recorded nationwide during the period. Federal Capital Territory tops the list, followed by Kaduna and Niger State. 8,876 commercial vehicles, 6,521 private vehicles, 270 government vehicles, 15 diplomatic vehicles were involved in the crashes. You are still listening to the World News at 5 from Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business and sport news. Please stay with us. US President Donald Trump has demanded a make-or-break vote in the House of Representatives on Friday on his troubled health care bill. The American Health Care Act is intended to replace part of President Barack Obama's signature Obamacare law. A vote on Thursday was delayed because of opposition from some Republicans. Mr. Trump had a closed-door meeting at the White House warned fellow Republicans that they had a choice between voting for his bill on Friday or being stuck with Obamacare for good. Repealing and replacing Obamacare was a major plank of Mr. Trump's election campaign, but his replacement has stalled amid Republican infighting. The party is unable to find a compromise. The current reforms go too far for some and not for enough for others. Police have identified Khalid Masood as the man who carried out the Westminster attack as the death toll rose to 5. Masood, 53, who was born as Adrian Elms in Kent and was shot dead by police, had not been the subject of any current police investigations. The so-called Islamic State group has said it was behind the attack, and 3 women and 5 men were arrested in London and Birmingham on suspicion of separation of terrorist act following Wednesday's attack. The Met Police says detectives are continuing to search a number of addresses. More than 200 migrants are feared dead in a boat sinking off the coast of Libya, according to a Spanish aid organization. Proactiva Open Arms said it had recovered 5 bodies floating near 2 capsized boats, which can each hold more than 100 people. The group's Laura Lanuza said the five that pulled from the Mediterranean were young men who appeared to have drowned. Ms. Lanuza said at the least 240 migrants may have died as boats were often overloaded by smugglers. Numbers of migrants trying to reach Europe from Libya through Italy have risen dramatically this year since the route between Turkey and Greece was effectively shut down. The International Organization for Migration says more than 20,000 migrants have arrived in Italy so far this year, and some 559 people are estimated to have died or gone missing en route. House of Representatives has asked the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) to urgently withdraw all the mutilated naira notes in circulation. The House adopted a resolution following a motion raised by Adekola Alexander, who expressed concern over the increasing rate of mutilated naira notes in the system. The banks, according to the lawmaker, are now issuing turn mutilated and unhygienic notes through the automated teller machine (ATM) and across the counter. The House directs its Banking and Currency Committee to liaise with the CBN to actualize the resolution. Finally, sport news. Kelechi Iheanacho scored a late equalizer for Nigeria to salvage a 1-1 draw with Senegal on Thursday night. The West African giants met in an international friendly at the Hive Stadium in London. The Manchester City star scored 7 minutes from regulation time to cancel out Musa Sow's opener early in the second half. Nigeria coach Janet Rowe handed the debut to Watford striker Isaac's success, while Olanrewaju Kayode missed a great chance to win the game late on for the Super Eagles. Both Nigeria and Senegal will be in action again on Monday with matches against Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast respectively. That was the world news at 5, and just before we go, the major stories once again. To die by hanging in Abeokuta over 6,000 naira and handset robbery. Governor Autumn wants Governor Wike to steer clear of Benue security issue. President Buhari nominates Mutiu Agboke, others as INEC rec for 28 states. And more Euro-bound Nigerians stranded in Libya returned home. On the foreign scene, we reported that Trump gives US Congress Friday deadline to vote on his healthcare bill, and more than 200 migrants feared drowned in Mediterranean. For more stories and to listen to us live, please log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you for listening. I am Simiat Abaru. Good evening.